Hey, this is Matt here. This is Chris here. This is you out there. And this is 6 Wins. We're here talking about our best WWE superstar bracket. And we've got our last 2 matchups in the first round to talk about. We've been through the first round already. We are going to be talking about the number 7 Edge versus number 10 Jeff Hardy. 2 guys that went up against each other. Yes.
You think you know me?
Oh, and there you go, the Edge. So that's a great matchup to talk about, and one that I'm curious to see who won that one. And then we're gonna do number 2, the Heartbreak Kid.
Can you do the people's lip?
Shawn Michaels. Is that what Shawn Michaels did? He did that lip snarl.
The Heartbreak Kid.
You're not wrong. I can picture that now. That's good. So yeah, HBK Shawn Michaels going up against Jimmy Superfly Snuka as the 15 seed. So before we talk about those matchups and reveal the winners, 1, if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you can get updates when our new videos come out. They come out almost daily, at least every other day.
Every weekday.
Every weekday.
Every weekday.
And then we also post some fun shorts. If you subscribe, you'll see those come up. And if you like our videos, we'll like you back. Do you like me? Check yes. Yes, like me, don't like me. Do those things.
I like you.
Yeah, cool.
Your opinions suck sometimes, but...
yeah, that's true. And if you don't like our opinions, tell us. You don't have to like the video. But leave a comment and say why so we can downvote you.
Yeah.
All right, but I want to ask a ridiculous question. Speaking of things that suck,
Good angle.
most of the time, everything goes according to plan. But this is live entertainment. And sometimes things don't always look great. Sometimes people say weird things, us included. We're not always perfect in these videos. Sometimes I say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Never. I want to know your top. You can pick any number, but I'm shooting for 3. What are your top 3 botches of all time in wrestling?
Gosh, that's so good. First one that comes to mind is, I don't even think it was WWE. I think it might have been TNA.
Okay.
But I think it was Christian and Big Papa Pump.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know the one you're talking about.
he was about to
They're outside of the ring, right?
Yes. He was about to slam his head down onto the apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, and he put his hands down, but he still went with it anyways. That was Christian Big Papa Pump. Right?
I know it was Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, that pretended to. I think Steiner was trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just really bad. Okay, cool.
And
that's one.
While I got Steiner on the mind, number 2.
Oh, I know where you're going with this one.
With Test, and he would Test was outside of the ring. This was facing the ramp, and Steiner was on the apron, the hardest part of the ring. Thank you, Simon Miller. And Test was outside. I think he was his manager was Stacy Keibler at the time.
Yeah.
And Steiner went to get him an axe handle smash, slipped, it didn't even come close, and I think Test still sold it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my god.
So that's 2. And
see, I thought you were going with the Steiner math promo, but I guess that's not a botch.
Yeah, that's a botch promo. Yeah. Well, while we're going promos, there have been so many classic promos that have been botched.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go honorable mention Hogan versus Vince.
Okay.
When he had to do it over and over again, he goes,
the right guy at the right place at the right time. Let me say it one more time. If you actually think that I was just the right guy at the right place.
That was bad. That's honorable mention, but the one I'm going with, Sid Vicious, when he told, I think it was Nash,
That you are only half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do.
Just so funny that not only did you botch the promo, it just works out ironically that you said that you are yourself dumb on accident.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. What about you? You got any in mind?
Booker T calling Hogan a slur, which I won't even allude to, but you can probably guess, and you maybe have seen the clip. I'll pick that as the botch promo because that's about as bad as it gets. That's not airable, and yet it was because there's a clip of it.
He knew. He knew. Look at the camera.
One of my other favorite botches is the Royal Rumble Batista and Cena finish. Because
how did I forget? Yes.
The botch isn't that bad. Because the botch is like, I don't know, like who forgot in the moment that they weren't supposed to go over the top rope with them. I think Batista was supposed to win, right? Because he ended up winning.
Yeah.
And they redid it. I think maybe he just forgot that he wasn't clotheslining and taking him over. He was supposed to, but hang on. And their feet both hit at the same time. So they botched there. But the most memorable part is Vince McMahon, 10 seconds later, the refs are like, what is happening? And you just know.
Oh, no.
Running down to the ring, throws his jacket, tries to slide in the ring, tears both of his quads, and is sitting there this whole time. And just like thinking of like what the refs... Just like, you start the match, you restart the match. Just thinking like what the refs like were thinking in that moment. Like, I have no idea what to do, but I'm so getting fired. Like, this is so terrible. So that's my number one botch of all time. Can I think of one more botch? I'm gonna think of one of the worst botches in terms of like an injury. It was a spot in like a ladder match, maybe like it may have been the tag team ladder match. Like somebody was gonna hit, like two guys were holding the ladder and somebody was gonna jump on the ladder, like it was supposed to hit him, and it hit Joey Mercury and just like sliced his face. Like he went back and he had to like get a bunch of just like stitches and surgery. Like it messed him up bad, blood everywhere. It was a real moment, and it's what I used to like tell people, like, you think wrestling's fake? This guy got his face ripped off. Like, I don't have to explain that anymore. People know. And so those will be my three botches. A bad injury, another bad injury, but one we laugh at because it happened to Vince. That's so mean. And then a bad word, one of the worst.
Ooh, another honorable mention that they covered for quite nicely, the Silverdome, brother.
Yeah, I was thinking of that one too. And Hogan couldn't remember the stadium that WrestleMania happened in, where he had a match.
I know. I was just thinking about body slamming Andre the Giant, and then Austin came out. Gonna be back here at the Superdome. And then Rock came out and just made fun. Anyways, what matchups we got here?
Yeah, now we can talk about the matchups. Let's start with HBK Snuka, because I think both of us would have predicted HBK would win. I think most people would probably take Shawn Michaels because he is one of the best guys. He's Mr. WrestleMania. So I would take Shawn Michaels. He's just got classic match after classic match. You can look towards the end of his career, his kind of DX prime of his career, and even early in his career, even a little bit before we were consistent watchers. You can find like a classic match that's, you know, up there in the top 10 for people. So how can you not take HBK here? Not to take anything away from Snuka, he was tremendous too, and really one of those guys that I think, like, for a lot of people was the first guy to really like go off the top rope and do a bunch of like high flying stuff and be very athletic. Where a lot of people were just like macho mans.
Big,
So your thoughts on HBK or Jimmy Snuka, or anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, well, hats off Jimmy Snuka. He had that first like off the top of the cage spot. Classic, like with Mick Foley in the crowd, if you remember. That's my probably standout memory for Snuka. But HBK, you know, his run before he had to go out for like 3 or 4 years, classic DX, the Rockers, solo run, the whole thing with Brett screwed Brett. And then arguably got sober, cleaned up his act a little bit, came back. Arguably his second run is just as good, if not better, than his first run. You want to talk about
retirement matches,
Flair retirements, Taker matches, just WrestleMania after WrestleMania. Although I'll have to confirm, but like his WrestleMania record, not all that good. I don't know what it is, but he's got a losing record at
a little
WrestleMania.
stat here.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels record.
We'll throw it in. But I'm going HBK all day. I could talk about it. I'm hoping he moves on, and you'll let us know who moves on. Hoping he moves on so we can talk more about him, because he's got so many iconic moments. But is he moving on? Did Snuka pull out the upset, or?
Yep, that poll went up there, and the winner between HBK and Jimmy Snuka was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. He won pretty big.
Yeah.
He's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and obviously a real strong candidate to hit Final Four, because he's on a lot of people's top lists.
Yeah.
So I would guess he's got a good chance to even win in his next matchup, which will be against the winner of Edge or Jeff Hardy. Two guys that really their careers cross paths so often. So this is going to be an interesting one, I think, for people to vote on. because I think I think this will be hard to not have your own subjective personal opinion come in here, because they wrestle at the same time. You probably liked one more than the other, and you can't really separate that now and be like, well, who's better when it comes down to all skills when it's all said and done. For me, I liked Matt Hardy more than Jeff Hardy. It might
Really?
but I always like people with the name Matt because it's the same name. That's not to say that Matt Hardy is better than Jeff Hardy. I just wanted Matt Hardy to be better than Jeff Hardy. V1 nah. And then he had like Matt Fax for a while.
Oh, yeah.
That was I mean, it was funny, but it was not a good time for wrestling, I think.
Matt Fax all on the floor. Matt Fax, give me some more. Matt Fax, Matt Fax.
Oh. All right. And then Edge, I also never was really that into Edge. He wrestled for a long time before the Rated R Superstar gimmick.
Right.
He was doing stuff with Christian and Gangrel and the Brood, and I think then even just solo stuff with maybe not as much of like a gimmick or character for a while, but I was always like, I can take him or leave him. Rated R Superstar kind of turned me on him. I think I started liking him more, but I was also a little tired of Cena. And so that was nice to have like this guy that wasn't like, I always work hard and I always overcome the odds. And you had this guy who's like, I'm going to have a live sex celebration on TV with Lita. And you're like, oh my God, are they really going to do this? When I thought wrestling was real, because I've always thought it was real and nobody can tell me it's not. Is that contradictory with something I just said earlier?
No.
Okay. So this is actually really hard because none of these guys are my personal favorite. Jeff Hardy, both will take high risks, but Jeff obviously higher risk.
Yeah.
Edge probably has more strength, more in-ring ability, and a higher moveset. Edge definitely better on the mic. Jeff Hardy, you'd think he'd be okay on it, but I almost feel like they rarely put him on there because I think they did and they tried and just couldn't do it. He strikes me as the guy that probably would have very high anxiety about it, real, nothing wrong with this happens to a bunch of people, but just be like, I freak out, I can't do it, and it's like a fear of public speaking that he can't get over because he's just super talented in other things, and it's like that one bugaboo for him. I would probably vote for Edge. When all is said and done, I think more qualities are higher for Edge than Jeff Hardy.
Okay, cool. If you would asked me this question 20 years ago, I would have gone Jeff Hardy all day. Maybe even 20 plus years ago. I remember being 13, 14, and I was such a Jeff Hardy fan. I had this distinct memory. I went paintballing with some friends. It was my first and only time ever going paintball. And remember, Jeff Hardy had the cool dyed hair with all different colors. I would find paintballs in the ground, smash them into my hair because I thought that look was so cool. I was a troubled child. But just the risks he took, all the super high ladders he jumped off of, the Hardy Boys return at WrestleMania 34, I think it was. WrestleMania roller coaster. One of the coolest memories. That reaction was unbelievable. But it's 2023. And I think this is where Jeff Hardy kind of took a nosedive. He called him the charismatic enigma. Never really had that much charisma.
No,
which
it was an
strange.
enigma why he would consider himself to have charisma.
Big bars. I'm thinking Edge has won me over. I think since he returned in 2020, it's really opened up my eyes because I would say 2009 to 2010. I think he retired in 2010, maybe 11. But he was getting a little out of shape, and I was never that big of a fan. But since he's been back, he's gotten in the best shape of his life, and he's reminded me he's a phenomenal talker. Those promos he cut during that Orton feud, pandemic, he's a great talker. And he can still go in the ring, so my vote is Edge.
All right.
When the voting kind of was all said and done on the socials, who won this one?
Yeah, who's moving on from that kind of extreme era of extreme guys? Is it Edge? Is it Jeff Hardy? It's Edge, the Rated R Superstar, moving on, and he's gonna face up against HBK.